Imagine a world where hunger vanished, not through technology, but through evolution. One morning, humanity awoke to find that every person could live simply by standing in the sun. No need for farms, no cooking, no starvation, just sunlight. At first, it seemed like paradise. People walked into the open with their arms raised, faces tilted skyward, feeling the warmth feed them from within. Streets filled with quiet figures basking, their skin faintly glowing in shades of green and gold. Scientists quickly discovered that the human body had developed a new biological layer, a thin, photosynthetic membrane within the skin that turned light into energy, like leaves on trees. The immediate consequences were miraculous. Famine ended overnight. Food industries collapsed, and grocery stores shut down within months. Fields grew wild as farmers abandoned them. Water was still needed, but even that was less essential. The energy of the sun sustained everything vital. The economy shifted dramatically. Billions once spent on food production vanished from circulation. At first, cities transformed into open spaces. Rooftops flattened into communal sun plazas, glass buildings redesigned to let light flood in. Schools, offices, and hospitals installed skylights. People organized sun gatherings, where hundreds would sit together in silence, absorbing light as a shared ritual. It became both a spiritual and biological act, eating replaced by enlightenment. But paradise slowly revealed its shadows. In places where the sun rarely shone, polar regions, deep valleys, or smog-filled cities, people began to weaken. Without sunlight, the body starved, even though there was no hunger. Artificial lamps were built, mimicking the solar spectrum, but they were expensive. New wealth emerged, the sun-rich living in bright climates and the shade-poor trapped in darkness. Global migration reversed. People fled north and south toward the equator seeking light. Social behavior changed too. Meals, once a cornerstone of human connection, vanished. Families no longer gathered around tables, restaurants became obsolete. Conversations that once began with, "Let's grab lunch," disappeared. Artists painted fewer still lifes of fruit. Farmers turned to other trades. Slowly, the culture of taste, cuisine, and shared eating faded from memory. Yet there were those who resisted. Some continued to eat, not for survival, but for pleasure. Secret food clubs formed underground, where members gathered to cook and eat forbidden meals. The smell of bread, once ordinary, became a rare and intoxicating luxury. Eating became art, rebellion, nostalgia. Over time, humanity's bodies evolved further. Skin tones darkened into deep chlorophyll hues, veins faintly pulsed green. People no longer aged the same way. Exposure to sunlight seemed to slow decay. The oldest could live centuries if they stayed close to the light. But the greatest cost came with dependence. When clouds covered the skies for weeks, panic spread. People collapsed in streets, their skin paling. Governments declared light emergencies, rationing artificial sunlight in giant solar domes. Wars began, not for oil or food, but for access to the brightest regions of Earth. Eventually, humanity learned a difficult truth. Even without hunger, they were still bound to the same fragile balance. They had become a species of light, nourished by it, enslaved by it. And on quiet mornings, when the first rays touched the world, people would step outside, lift their faces to the sky, and feel life flow into them. Realizing that they no longer ate the world, they had simply become part of its endless photosynthesis.